r/AskReddit, pawn shop employees of Reddit. What is something people think is collectible or worth a lot of money, but is actually relatively worthless? I work at a hobby shop, not a pawn shop, but we buy and sell collectibles. Top vote goes to comic books and Pokemon cards. I've literally had people come in with garbage bags full of crumpled comic books from 20 years ago that look like they were buried in a swamp, expecting thousands of dollars for them. Likewise, Pokemon was the hottest media franchise in the world when it came out. Everyone had them. Many still do. Lots of new cards are actually worth more than the old base set rares. If you're going to sell anything, do your research, for your sake and the vendors. I don't understand how someone can try to sell something and have no idea what it's worth. If you don't even have a frame of reference for what a fair price is, what do you hope to accomplish? At that point you're just using your willful ignorance as an excuse to assume you're getting ripped off just because you, like 99% of people, don't have a treasure trove of collectibles. Pawn shop employee here. There's a lot, but one that stands out to me right now are watches. Brands like Fossil, Michael Kors, Citizen, etc. cost you over $100 at stores like Masses, but we typically sell them for about $40, even in like new condition. When something goes from new to used, the value of said item goes down a lot. I made this mistake when I was younger. I got a great deal on a Seiko dive watch and decided to turn around and pawn it. When I handed it to the employee, he took a deep breath and explained to me what retail markup is and what makes some watches more valuable than others. He even took out some Rolex and other expensive watches he had behind the counter and explained why they were heavy, the different types of movement, how they worked, etc. It must have been a slow day because he spent about an hour teaching me about watches. Really cool guy. Swarovski crystal ain't worth shit. People don't seem to understand that it's glass and not some kind of semi-precious gem. That said, their beads are high quality and it shows in your work if you do that kind of stuff. But I can imagine that they are worthless to a pawn shop. Given that their quality control for their faceting has gone down the drain, really all they've got left going for them is their clarity. And even the clarity is going to be moot in a few years once the Chinese and Czech crystal manufacturers catch up on that. I have Chinese crystal in my stash that is almost as clear as Swarovski and was a fraction of the price. They were the premier crystal bead manufacturer for decades, but they are rapidly losing market share among experienced jewelry artists. Not a pawn shop employee, but I'll share what the guy I went to told me. I priced out some coins and a watch for my dad's estate, and the watch, even though it was in excellent condition and from 1905, was worth like $125. The coins were basically worthless. He told me go skip these across a pond if you want to get any enjoyment out of them. Similar to this, I collect stamps, and pretty much everyone who does this still is a few decades older than me. I get stamps based on if I like them, but some of these old guys are obsessed with value, apparently not looking around and realizing there is no one to sell to. Similarly, no one will bother to look at your granddad's stamp album after he dies unless it's all the stamps from X country or similar. I used to flip computers and people could not understand that their used, broken computer is not worth the $500 they originally paid for it. I buy, build and flip computers as well. The most common mistake I see people make is trying to flip high-end builds. The number of people out there looking to drop $2,500 on a computer is small, and the people out there looking to spend that money either build it themselves or pay a company to do it for them so they can get exactly what they want. Low to mid-range is where the quick money is in my experience. Anything over $500 just sits around and attracts lowball offers. Edit, ****, this kind of blew up more than I thought, and I'm getting a lot of questions from people wanting to do this on their own now. A couple pieces of information first. 1. Everyone who has ever built a computer understands how easy it is to do and thinks they can make money on the side doing it. I do it because it helps with the upgrade list and is something that I enjoy doing. If you don't want to deal with people or enjoy building and working on computers, I do not recommend trying it. Also why you will be dealing with people, so if you don't want to provide support, haggle or can't be social, it probably isn't for you. 2. Make no mistake, it is work. I build 2 to 3 computers on the side each month to pay for my own upgrades and beer/fun money. It is great for that, but I don't think someone doing what I do could make a living out of it. Everything I do is on the side of my day job. 3. My average takeaway from a $400 to $500 computer is usually about $100, maybe a little more than that if I find good deals, but after the time spent shopping, building, testing, and selling a computer, I'm not making big bucks doing it. If you want to make a living off of it, you probably need a store, and at least in my city, those places pop up, and most go out of business in a couple years. 4. You will be doing maintenance and troubleshooting for your customers. If it is outside the first 90 to 180 days, make sure you charge them and make them understand that there is no warranty on used parts and no free repair outside of a certain window. Never do work for free, as it will become the expectation. 5. Be upfront and honest about what it is, what it can do, and where it came from. If you're using second-hand parts, tell them that, because if something goes wrong, there likely will not be a warranty for them to fall back on. If you're building something someone requests, ask if they are okay with used parts. You can get them a better PC that way, but there are risks with buying used electronics. Being upfront and honest will make people recommend you to their friends. 6. If you're building something specific that someone contacted you about, anything below $500, I send a build list and ask for 50% upfront, which is non-refundable. Anything above that is 100% upfront, or they buy the parts. You will likely never hear from them again after that. Pawn shop employee here. Get a ton of people bringing TVs in thinking they are going to get $100+, but the market is so oversaturated, you're most likely gonna get less than 50 even for your 60-inch TV. I paid $220 for a 4K Samsung 40 inches a few weeks ago. TVs are stupid cheap now. Edit. I just want to add that I wanted the 40 inches for my very tiny apartment. I absolutely know I could have gotten a bigger one for not much more. It's funny how this is happening. BC, now you can get a TV that was being considered futuristic when I was a kid for like $100. They still work fine, but everyone is so enamored with 4/8K that they don't even want a good 1080p, and you can get it for like 10% of what it cost 3 years ago. Jewelry. Especially diamond rings. Yeah, you paid thousands. It's worth considerably less. Langabaja baskets. The next state over there is a now defunct basket making company whose HQ is a giant basket. They were a thing for a while, similar to Beanie Babies, until the bottom fell out of the market. People were buying these things as a long-term investment, but they are practically worthless now. People think they still have value. Heh, bottom fell out of the basket market. Don't put all your eggs in the basket market. Baseball autographs after like 1935. Willie Mays, Ted Williams, Mickey Mantle, yeah, they signed thousands of things. Often lowers values of their cards. I like. Derek Jeter came to my elementary school when I was in 4th grade, and we lined up to walk out of the auditorium so he could sign a baseball card that they issued to every one of us. I had no clue who he was and cared nothing for baseball, so I just walked past him. I sometimes wonder if that was a bad move on little 10-year-old diorama S part, but I feel a little better knowing it wouldn't actually be worth anything today. I have a signed Jeter card from his high school team. I'm told it's worth a couple of bucks. Ken Griffey Jr.'s rookie card. Michael Jordan's rookie baseball card. Apparently not worth the card stock they were printed on. The entirety of the Topps baseball cards from the year I was born. Never seen the light of day. $25. Not a pawn store employee, but I flipped things. Fish tanks are worthless. A $1,000 brand new fish tank is worth fuck all. Large tanks explode when they get old. Shit, even small ones explode. In shore, most glass fish tanks will explode once you flip them. Not a pawn shop employee, but I flipped things. And one thing that a lot of people misunderstand is comic books. They're usually not worth more than a couple bucks, unless you go really far back, like 50s/early 60s. Even then they need to be in excellent condition. A few scuffs around the edges, and a bit of fading, can easily make a $1,000 book worth $50. When I was a kid and read comics, I was really into Spawn. I started reading it right when it first came out. A year later, a first print of Spawn #1 was worth $300 to $400. My friends and I all had them, and thought we would be rich in 20 years, when it would be worth thousands. Now it is worth maybe $20, if it is in very good condition. I have a friend who has about 2,000 comics from the 1980s, when we were kids. He planned to sell them, and pay off his house. After pricing them all out, he found out about 95% of them are worth $1 or less. Subscribe and ring the bell for more.